Lydia. Thanks everyone for being here. And I'm going to share today a testimonial because for many of you who have been around Grigori Grabovoi's technologies, whether it's been a short time or a long time, I guess the burning question on many people's lips when they first come is, do these technologies work? And how quickly can I grow back my teeth and my organs? Which is generally the first question that I have from people when they come to Grabovoi's teachings. So today I'm going to present a testimonial from a student of ours, Yelena Bogdanovich, and she did this in 2016. What I'm going to do is explain why it is possible, what you need to know about doing it. So I will explain exactly what she did, and I'll give you her words. I'll show you the evidence because people often don't believe until they've actually seen. Show me, and then I will believe it. And in fact, when many people ask me about what I do, and I'm talking about Grigori Grabovoi's teachings, I cut to the chase pretty quickly and say, let me give you an example. One of our students regrew her surgically removed ovaries in 3 months. And that gets their attention. And they say, how could this be possible? Why can she do this? So I'm going to lead you there and just put a little quote in here. Often when you're in training with me, you will hear me make a comment about how important it is to have little mental ticks. And a mental tick is those small little proofs to yourself that you are extremely powerful in being able to create your reality, to harmonize your events, and to improve your health and well-being. And even to the point where I think when I did the exercise, when we used cube, cone, cube over a glass of water, and the reminder is the mental tick is if I can change the water to taste softer and smoother, then any control that I do for myself or for others also has worked. The only difference is that I can't taste it because it's not water. But these mental ticks help to place you in a position of the platform of full trust, as Patrice made a comment today when we were doing the concentration, to trust in the process, to trust in your abilities, and sometimes to understand that you can also do it on the platform of other people's success. So let me just adjust the image here so I can show you the whole and get rid of. All right, let's have a look. Okay. So this is from the comment by Yelena. I regrew my surgically removed ovaries just by thinking. I'm happy to share with everyone who will be interested in healing and an application of the technologies of consciousness, teachings of Grigori Grabovoi, that I've regenerated my ovaries just by thinking. And the evidence is attached, not here, but in her information. So I just want to stop here and think, why is it that we can regrow our any organ in our body? Well, it goes back to the first question, how did this all happen? How did it first start? Well, first you have your own point of creation, your universal point of creation, your own point of creation, and then every organ in our body and system has also its own point of creation. Because every cell, every organ has around it a matrix, or as Grabovoi says in some of his teachings, a web, a netting. We have a matrix of time and space. And therefore, in our consciousness, we can direct through our thinking a light impulse and with a stem cell to be able to start the process in the matrix, in the point of creation, to start the process of duplicating more stem cells and for the organ to start taking process. One of the things that people ask also is, well, can't I just do this all at once and restore multiple organs? And I'd like to say here that there are many reasons why your organ was perhaps removed, and it wasn't because the surgeon removed it. It's because of the events, the people, your thinking, the way that your environment that you lived in that led to the organ being at disease with the rest of the body. And so every organ and system in the body needs to consider harmonizing the past events, of which you don't need to know in your left brain what happened, when it happened, because they're only thinking of the logical mind. But always when people ask me about regeneration, I say, first we need to harmonize your past events that led. So we take them through a process of going back to a point before it all happened, and we, in our own words, stating that this did not happen. We did not have an organ that had been removed. There were no unharmonious events. And we moved to an area in space where those events did not impact us in the here and now. So that's important to remember that, you know, in the process of your practice, this is something that should be implemented because you're helping to remove any distortion that would hinder the slowing up or hinder your growth. So here we have Yelena's report. And in August the 3rd, 2016, her gynecologist reported and she was referred to having her ovaries surgically removed. And as she says, and you can probably read the rest of it here, as she said, in the process of learning, and she not only studied with us because she is multilingual, she also studied with some of the Russian teachers. So she had a very strong background in the teaching. She had a very strong belief because of what she had read in Grabovoi's teachings, that she was in the position that she could absolutely do this. And so here I make another little point is that if one of your objectives is to remove to regenerate one of your organs or teeth, let this not be the first thing you do. I suggest that you have a couple of mental ticks to build the trust, to build the belief, to build the knowing that on the back of everyone else, in your heart, you know that you're able to do it because you understand why it can happen, you know, and then also understand how it can happen, the process. So your mother didn't grow your organs. She was the incubator for your body to be in the process of growing itself. So to answer that question, why can it happen, is because at that very first point, that point of creation, you were able to grow your organ. And in fact, if you look at your teeth, you've grown them a couple of times. So why can't you grow them again? It just requires quite a bit of practice. Let's continue. The application of one's mind is actually easy, relaxing, and enjoyable. This is Yelena. Once you decide to do it, and it is a decision with volition, not what we might call half motivated opportunity, you make it with volition. You decide to do it. And the greatest challenge is to consider that it may be possible and then to do it consistently for a relatively short period of time. Now, depends on what you think is short. In my case, I achieved the impossible, or what some people may call miracles. And I think Greg Braden says it's beautifully when he said it's only a miracle until you discover it's a technology. And sometimes between early November 2015 and February 2016. So she says, feel free to share this broadly. The self-healing is today a reality, and it would be the best thing you could do for yourself and your loved ones to help everyone become aware of the power of our creative mind. Now, this was back in 2016. This is 9 years ago. And here we have 9 years on. That information that Yelena was able to solidly in her mind know that she was able to regenerate her ovaries sent a structure into the unified field that it is absolutely a possibility. And likewise, other people around the world, that information exists, not only from Grabovoi's teachings, but it exists in the unified field. So it's absolutely possible and it is a reality. There is a video that Yelena talks about in the next piece, which is available on the internet. It was done some time ago. It is in Russian and Serbian, but I had a look yesterday and you're able to go in and use the captions to translate it. It comes from a colleague of Grigori Grabovoi's, Katie Petrov, but from the point of view from people who say they're not very visual, that they don't understand what they need to do, this acts as a really good tool to be able to show you, and in this case, this video is about regeneration of a uterus. This video shows the process that this person went through and helps to give you a hint as how to do that. So Yelena looked at this, she could see, and in this image, you can see the faint outline of the matrix, the spiritual version of the physical organ. And she went through her practice each day diligently for, as she said, 3 months. And so I'm going to read a little further about what she actually did and certainly give you a little bit more understanding. I'm very happy if Lydia and Patrice and Valerie are okay, I can definitely share the video with anyone if they want. This is the evidence that I said was attached. This is from Yelena's doctor, which basically informs her that proof that, yes, she has her ovaries back. Now, just a little aside here, she didn't go to the doctor and say, I regrew my ovaries, because you can probably imagine the doctor would perhaps dismiss it and maybe not even believe it. So she went to the doctor and said, I think I have an issue. And on the basis of that, because she'd had issues in the past, the doctor did some scans. So once she had completed it. So this is the method that she used for healing her surgically removed ovaries. She said, I did the usual connection with the creator's light and the creator's energy, followed by the macro control, which is rescue, or some people use the word salvation and harmonious development. I'd state my first objective as changing the collective consciousness and making it known to all that organ regeneration is possible for all. My personal objective to regenerate my ovaries and to revitalize and rejuvenate my whole body. I wrote a 1-page statement of what I wanted to achieve, scribbling the shape of my uterus and ovaries. So this is important for your eyes or your mind to be able to perceive what the shape looks like, what it actually looks like, which you can do by going on the web. And describing what I wanted to achieve. I filled it and totally forgot about it until the February scan. I watched a video titled Regeneration of Uterus, which I found on the Serbian YouTube channel of Svetlana Novak. This video text is spoken in Russian and Serbian. The subtitles, as I said, they do have different languages. I happen to speak both languages, and you'll be able to see the instructions. The teacher said that all soft tissue regeneration is based on the same principle. You imagine a matrix of the organ you are regenerating, and you take a living cell of the spine. This is a stem cell out of the spine, and place it on the matrix. Then divide the cell into 2, then 4, etc. And imagine the whole matrix being covered with new living cells. You imagine the organ being connected with the thyroid gland, as all organs need to be connected to it. And then you give the instruction to the cells to multiply. Next, you spend some time each day focusing on the organ and imagining it growing along the matrix lines and feeling it growing inside. And that's what Yelena was commenting on when we spoke. She said, even in my time that I spent, and she said sometimes it'd be an hour a day, and sometimes I'd come out of my concentration and it'd be an hour and a half, but it only felt like minutes. And she said I could, at the same time as I was imagining, I could also feel in my body that it was happening. And so at a certain point, I just knew it was done. And this is the feeling, as I described in the concentration, where the light of the realization of your goal hits you. It does. It hits you back in your heart, and you have this knowing it's done. There's no question. It's like, I don't need to tell you how to drive a car. If you've been learnt how to drive a car, you know in your heart, you know how to do it. At a certain point, I just knew it was done, and I stopped doing controls sometimes well before I had the scan. So you're right, it was completed much earlier. The funny thing was that my tonsils were also regenerated. I did not specifically work on it, although I did controls for my overall body regeneration. The reason I didn't include this in my report is that I don't have a medical certificate of the tonsils being removed. It was done when I was a teenager in former Yugoslavia. So I didn't have the evidence of a before and an after at all. I am now applying the same method to the healing of my liver. I feel I'm almost done, and I feel the process is much faster than I imagined it. It's interesting how one feels when the control is done. You obviously have experienced it yourself, otherwise you wouldn't have picked up this point. And I hope to translate the video below and share it with the community, that I found, as I found it really easy to follow. I watched it once, I did the first control as per the video, and then I relaxed. She went into the creative phase and just imagined it and felt it. So once she'd had an idea of how it happened, then she relaxed and goes, okay, this is the process, this is how I do it. And now I relax into the creative part, allowing my consciousness to reveal, and also my my ability to be able to perceive, very much like Grabovoi said, to observe the elements that were connecting around it, in this case, connecting to the thyroid gland, as she said. Another important point to share, and while I was doing the control, I had full belief that this would work. There was no disbelief. I did not debate the point with myself. I just did what I did, expecting a result. However, on receiving the first scan, I was actually amazed and even shocked. But eventually I accepted it as a result. And I will say she had two more scans after that to dispel any doubt that she had. And she said, as the time passed, my disbelief grew. Questions, what if the apparatus was faulty? So I had two more scans, two different pieces of equipment. In view of this, I believe that our main task is to be aware of and manage the disbelief. And I think that's where people get into real trouble, is because unlike a glass of water that you can sip and taste the difference when you change it with a number sequence or some geometry, we don't have the beauty of that, of being able to look in our body. I like to play in the matrix, like include a hologram, like I'm working outside of myself. So I'm observing it happen. That for me works really well when I'm doing my processes, because we get quite locked at being in the body at every ache and pain. But when you're observing it like your soul observes it, when you're observing it like the creator, you're just in the moment of creating and playing. And playing is a big word. We know how to work, but we haven't been taught how to play in the field. We haven't been taught how to play in our consciousness. And this is very much now I'm playing with the different elements of creation, and I'm working with the elements of creation within my body. And so um, setting that point of being in what I call the point of calm, which is a beautiful number sequence, which really helps to start setting the pace. We often hear about getting into your heart. Unfortunately, most people are in their head imagining that they're in the heart. The heart maths people in the US have done quite a lot of research in that. So some of the things to help to drive you into the heart when you're going about doing regeneration of any organs or even harmonizing events in your outer world is to go back in time and think of a time where you had a deep care or gratitude or love for something or compassion. And those memories will help to drive you into the feeling in your heart. And from that place, and with the point of calm, being able to then go about the practice of regeneration and growing or harmonizing events. So this was Elena's work. I'm going to place this video link in case anybody wants to look at it in the chat, because it really does help, especially for people that perhaps aren't as visual. Well, I often hear, "Oh, I cannot visualize." Well, you mightn't be able to visualize with your arms. Oops, it's just going on the screen here. Hang on for a sec. You might be able to visualize, but if it's not going up there. Maybe I give it to Valerie or something to. Yeah, it's only going on the screen. Sorry, guys. I'll give it to Valerie or Lydia later, and perhaps anybody that wants it, she can give that to. I think the last bit I wanted to really say about that was it does, if you're not a visual, if I asked you right at this moment to imagine if I have an orange in my hand, you would get the essence that I am holding an orange. And this is for those who are not visual, who are perhaps a little bit more sensitive or don't see, then if you just imagine, this is the same way you're sending a standing wave, a beautiful light radiation impulse with your intention, and this is having a massive effect in the field, and especially in when you're keeping your laser focus on your objective, which is to regenerate your ovaries. I hope this helps, that you have concrete evidence. And I know Yelena's not the only person in the world that has regenerated her ovaries. I hope this gives you a lot of hope, but not only that, but knowing that if Yelena was able to do it, then it's absolutely possible for you to do it. The only thing is your commitment to you and the doubt in your head. But I think if you, well, not that I think, I know that if you're committed and you show self-love to yourself, then that commitment of regeneration is not going to be just important for you, but you're going to have an impact on the people around you. You're going to be able to say, look, this is what I did, and here's the evidence to do that. And then it shifts the collective consciousness's thinking. And that's what we're here to do, to massively not only impact our lives, but have a real impact on the collective consciousness's thinking, so that we move together in harmony and move towards eternity and bring it right back to very much to us in the here and now. So I hope you've enjoyed Yelena's testimonial today, and it gives you a lot of hope and also the impetus to really start on something that perhaps you've been putting on the back burner for some time, and knowing that this is absolutely possible for you. So thank you everyone for having me here, and happy practicing. And thank you again to the Grigori Grabovoi team for all your love and support. It's very, very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Marion. Thank you for sharing such an important testimony on the regeneration of the organs. And this information is really enriching our field of information. So this is also important message what you sent, that it is much more than just thinking or just believing. It is important to think, of course, and believe in the result and the success, but the knowledge is the ultimate result, that you know that it is possible and how it is possible. So thank you for sharing this beautiful testimony of Jelena Bogdanovic. And I wish, and I'm sure that this will be shared during our training program, and much more information about that. Because our training program, Mastering the Present for a Harmonious Future, is about building, creating the knowledge, how to control, how to create. Thank you, Marion. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.